in today, Cruella DeVille.
Hi, guys. We're back. Happy Saturday afternoon. We have got Jason Collier. Y'all have heard about him and been wanting to meet him. And the author of the book, Lonnie Doris, but we call her Lori. What's that?
One of the authors.
What?
One of the authors.
One of the authors. Right, but we don't have the other one on here, so I didn't want to say anything. I shouldn't say if she doesn't, if she's busy,
Yep. She's got a new book coming out.
Oh, what is it?
It is one of the most anticipated books in her series, and she's going to kill me when she sees this because I don't remember the name. I think Sacred Vow. I know the characters. The characters are Ryan and Nova, and everybody, all of her readers have been anticipating this book for a year. And it releases this month on the 26th, I think. Somewhere towards the end of the month. And I've read it, and it's amazing.
Is it going to be on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you guys also wrote a book about Jason. Jason, have you read the book?
I have. Most importantly, I lived it, I guess.
Exactly. So what was your favorite part about the book before we get into other things? Because I know my favorite part.
I guess just getting the truth out there about everything that had happened, and there were so many lies and misconceptions about what had happened, and so for me to be able to get my story out there and get the truth, I think that was probably the best.
Now, can I ask you something really quick? And you can say no, but I'm looking at page 1 of the book, and I just want to know, what was your reaction when you heard that Cecily put on the webpage of your department, Facebook user does not recommend city of where you worked? Were you devastated? Did you see it coming? What was going on?
If I remember correctly, one of the other officers that monitored the page messaged me and said, what's going on? And then that's when I looked at the Facebook page and seen that. I was really surprised. It was a personal matter, and to take a personal matter onto a public government page like that, I definitely didn't agree with that. It could have been handled a different way.
Oh, I agree. Because that's nuts. And to me, she was such a hypocrite because on one hand, she's so incensed and she's so offended, yet she participated.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like pouring your own milk in the floor and then complaining about spilt milk. I didn't understand that at all. So, it became worldwide news. How did you feel about the memes and stuff? Now, you have to admit, a few of them were pretty funny.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing about me. I've always had a sense of humor, and you've got to be able to laugh at things, especially yourself. And
right,
the stuff directed towards me, fine, that's fine. But the stuff that started bringing my kids and everything into it went to a different level that was not appropriate. But the jokes and everything directed.
No, it wasn't at all. Yeah, we can all kind of take a kick in the ribs here and there. My thing was when I saw the comment between Cecily and another woman, and she aimed her towards one of your children. I'm not going to say who it is. And I'm like, what a disgusting thing to do. And I put that in the group, and I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Kids are off limits.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be.
Right, Lori?
Their kids are definitely supposed to be off limits. And, if these women understood what they were doing to his children, I talked to one of his children pretty regularly. And if these women and men and whoever understood what they're putting that poor girl through when they come and attack her, they might not do it. But again, they might, because I don't know, can't control people. But it's not fair to her. She's just a good girl, good grades, good, she's just a good girl. And she has feelings just like any other, person on the planet. And
Right.
because she's a teenager and she's already going through whatever, we all went through it as teenagers, and now she's got to, go to work and somebody make a smart remark, or go to school and somebody make a smart remark. That's just not fair to me. It's not fair to her.
No, it's not at all. And I don't like, bullies, period. And especially when, in this day and age, there's so much stuff out there. When I was growing up, it was the tabloids. But now it's social media. Anybody can say anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They put it out there, and, people run with it. And what did she do? She didn't do anything. She just happens to be his daughter, and that's not a crime. And she doesn't deserve to be bullied, and she doesn't deserve, for people to come at her. She can't control her dad. What child can control their parent? None.
No, not at all. And I agree with you, Tammy. No one should have ever made this case so public.
Exactly.
Nobody.
And my thought on is, and again, from the very beginning, from the first time when we started talking about the book, the very first time I talked to Jason, I said, I don't agree with what you did. I don't agree. You shouldn't have done that. You should have got out of one relationship, whatever. But at the end of the day, how many people out there in the world are cheating on their spouse? Not that it's right.
No, sure. In a perfect world, we all line up A, B, and C. It doesn't work that way.
Right. And nobody else is out here blowing up somebody's world.
According to social media, I'm the first man ever. So that's the way they've
we're all so intrigued.
I have 2 ex-husbands. You're not the first. But whatever.
Well, I think Dr. Phil told you you're not the first man.
Oh no! It just, the way it's been taken to this level. People just making it out that way, and I know I'm not the first. Know lots of people over the years that's made that same mistake, and I guarantee it's still happening today. It just got, the way it was brought to the public eye, just made it so many times worse.
Yeah, and even after, like, Jason can't even breathe without somebody taking it to one of these groups or taking it into Facebook or wherever. Oh, Jason breathed today. It's just so bizarre to me, but it is what it is. He's, he has shut down all of his social media because of it. People that he thought were his friends, that he's known for a while, is how, his Facebook posts here last month, I think it was, his Facebook posts start showing up in different groups, and it was one of his friends that he's known forever. She did it. She screenshotted and would send it to people to put in the groups. But, his Facebook was locked down. It was private. If you weren't a friend of his, you couldn't see it. And, so the posts get put into these groups, and now he's getting ripped apart just for living his life. He's not married. He can have 10 girlfriends now if he wants to. You know, and then the last one, the last post that, really they were beating him up over, it was a picture of him and a girl that, they enjoyed each other's company. They attacked this poor woman, attacked her. It was insane. Like, if you want to attack Jason, okay, he's a big boy. But you're going to attack some woman and because she's in a picture with him and likes his company? That it just totally threw me for a loop. I was shocked. And then to find out, that it's a friend of his that's been friends with him, has known him for so long, and she was doing it just to get stuff stirred up again. Friends like that, you don't need no enemies. You got plenty.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that this has taught me is who truly your friends are, and it's kind of scary sometimes because there's so many people that you bend over backwards for, and then in the times where you need that, you need somebody, they're got the knife and they're stabbing you in the back, and it's
I think
crazy.
we lost Brooks, and I think it's just now the Jason and Lori show.
Yeah.
Hold on, I just saw a message pop up for us to hang on, and I don't see her little emblem. There she is.
I don't know what in the world happened.
It's okay. We were just talking about how he can't even breathe without people trying to attack him, and how his own friend would take his Facebook posts and put them in these groups. And
I know we've had to reject quite a few of them. Now, you had a girlfriend, and I think you made a joke on your Facebook about a coffee maker or something like that. And she tried to make a post in the group, and I didn't allow it because I couldn't quite understand if she was upset or not. And that's just,
Right. Her and I had been talking for a while, and we had gone to a company party, and that's when we took that picture that night. And we sat down there at the party and typed out that Facebook post, and we both, it was a joke, but she was just a friend that we enjoyed having each other's company,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, she's divorced and single, I'm divorced and single, and we were just friends, and we were just putting that out there that, man, we're friends and we enjoy having each other's company, and man, people just attacked her. At that point, I was just used to it, but she was not, and it devastated her, and it potentially cost all because she went to a company get together with Jason Collier.
Yeah, but part of it too was, you put it on social media thinking it wouldn't be shared from your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm assuming your page is private.
It was very private. It's non-existent right now.
Yeah. I have no access to social media, and it's been kind of nice, but yet that was my way of staying connected with my friends and my family, and just not having it, I said, feels good in a way, but also makes you feel socially isolated.
Well, it does, because you want to check up on people. You see what they post during the day. They're posting pictures, who wants to have lunch, those things.
Well, and there was even an incident a couple months ago where Jason changed his profile picture to a picture of him and his children And somebody, I mean, those aren't private. Those, the whole public can see that. And people took that picture, a screenshot, and put it in the groups and were tearing his daughter apart. And then, I mean, they acted like they didn't know it was his daughter. They were saying she was the next girlfriend. And then when people came in, I was like, no, that's his daughter. Then they started, well, what daughter stands with their dad like that? I'm like, are you people for real? You just anything to pick at him over, And again, they've come after me. I'm dating him. I'm not dating him. I'm married. 21 years.
I know, I saw that. I know. I had to go back and forth with this one idiot for days. And they're like, oh, they're getting married. And I'm like, what? No. I'm like, Lori's not getting married. She's already married.
I'm already married. Been married for 21 years. But because,
I mean, come on.
that kind of segues into, Dr. Phil. The editing, they edited out anything negative that Terry Ann and I said, and I don't mean negative that we were mean to Jason, but I think there was one thing where, Dr. Phil was talking about our dynamic, and I was like, well, I'm kind of like the big sister, and that's the little sister, meaning Terry Ann, and Jason's like the brother in the middle. And, I try to be it's okay, Jason, we can do this. It's fine. You're going to be fine. And then Terry Ann was the one that would kick him in the butt when, he was, feeling down on himself and wasn't taking my motivation. And, they cut that whole thing out. It was like, I think Terry Ann and I filmed with them for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it was cut down to 4 minutes. And it was just, all the good stuff. It wasn't anything negative. And I get it. I feel like they wanted, okay, here's women. Let's make them look like they're the support women in his life when all these other women are attacking him. So he's got two supportive women. But at the end of the day, Jason, I tell you real quick, I'm quick to tell him, I'll give him encouragement, but I'm quick to be like, okay, knock it off. Stop. And so would Terry Ann. So,
Lori says it in a.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Lori says it in a sweet manner, where Terry Ann says it in a, I'm going to beat you up if you don't stop this.
The typical little sister. Like, little sisters always wreak havoc. And, I'm the big sister that's just like, hey, come on. You can do it.
Yeah.
Well, so of course, I mean, a lot of us have seen, Dr. Phil. Are you taking any of his advice?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to, focus on myself and realize that until I'm fixed, the perfect woman might be right there in front of me, but she's not going to be the perfect woman for me at that time until I'm fixed. And he offered me the brain scan. I went and did that, and got some really good information from the Ammon Clinic, and also they offered me the counseling services, and I'm taking advantage of that and really enjoying that and learning ways to focus on myself and to grow.
Well, before we get into things that are going on now, can I ask you a question about Opal?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you talked to her? What's going on? And you can just say no.
The divorce was finalized, and there was a few things in the divorce where we were told that we had to communicate to work these things out financially, and we did, and that's been probably about a month or so ago, and that's been the last communication we've had.
Because when I was reading in the book, it seems like she held a lot of things over your head and that she wasn't a very supportive partner, and there was issues with her son that she didn't deal with.
I'm sorry, the connection kind of cut out there, so I missed the question. I'm sorry.
No, just in the book, I mean, what I was reading is Opal held a lot of things over your head and seemed like there was a problem with her son that she wouldn't deal with.
Yes. Yeah, we had a lot of arguments over that back and forth, and that was one of the biggest problems that we had in our relationship.
So Casey has a question. Is Jason still using dating sites to meet women, or did he delete those profiles as well? I'm just curious if he was using them, what kind of backlash he was getting on there, if any. So are people being cool with you, or just throwing, being how people can be?
Oh yeah, I tried a dating site a few weeks ago, and that lasted about 2 or 3 hours, and just the hate and everything was still there. I mean, it's like Lori said, I can't breathe without somebody hating on me. So no, I have no social media. I have no dating sites. I have nothing.
Well, go to Buckles in Amarillo. You can meet tons of women there. By the Love's Truck Stop. Go down there.
Yeah. I think I'll just focus on myself.
Good idea. Well, if it's okay with you, do you care if I read this? Go ahead, Lori.
I said I like that idea. Been telling him that since I met him.
So there was another issue. Sorry, I'm trying to get it pulled up. I should be a little more prepared, but I'm not. And if you can't talk about this, you can't. Exactly, Aga, you need to get the book. Casey, so it's constant negativity at every turn that can really take a toll on someone's mental. Of course it can. Yeah. Actually, what was the worst for you, Jason? What was the worst? Just when it just all hit, just when you Googled your own name, or what was it?
Oh, I mean, the worst thing is my kids, is having knowing the struggles that they're having to go through. It's tough enough, I guess, having the notoriety that I'm their dad, but the bullying and everything that they're receiving is probably the toughest thing that I'm dealing with. And I guess going down from that is I'm very socially isolated. I've lost everything. I lost all my friends. I can't be on social media. I can't date.
You can be on social media, but you just have to keep everything private and probably limit your friends list, Yeah.
And
I mean, someone's sharing your stuff.
Right. And that's what's rough is, you find out it's somebody that you've been friends with since you were kids, and our families were best of friends, and we grew up together, and to find that out, and it's like, who else? Who's next? So I have a lot of trust issues with that. So I just find that it's best to just totally ignore social media and just not have an account on social media until maybe at a later date when hopefully this stuff will blow over a little more.
Now, how did you feel? And like I said, you don't have to answer. When Cecily sold her story to the Daily Mail and actually made money, how did you feel about that?
I mean, that's her deal. If
You could have split it.
you know, if she
You could have
wanted to
split it.
if she, I didn't. No, she's good. She can keep it. I'd rather not have any contact.
The only thing that bothered me about the Daily Mail thing is her turning over Jason's personal pictures with his children. If she wanted to turn her over, turn them over. Those are your pictures. You took them with Jason, whatever. But the minute that she handed over pictures from his wedding to Opal and kids and family vacations and whatever else, that's where she drew the line. She decided to give her story, sell her story, whatever she did to the Daily Mail. He decided to give his to two authors that wrote a book. No difference.
And the proceeds went to his children.
The majority of them did.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got to cover the cost of printing the book too.
Cost, taxes,
and your time.
And mine and Terry Ann's time. Yeah.
There's nothing that's free anymore, and I mean, you know, there's costs associated with everything. But yeah, that's she
cover.
You know,
it costs money to put a cover on a book if you want it to be, worth its weight. Editing, proofreaders, marketing. There's all kinds of costs that go with a book. All books. And for self-publishers like Terry Ann and I, we put those costs out there. A publishing company, if you have a deal with a publishing company, most authors that are with a publishing company make a lot less than self-published authors, because the publishing company is going to get all of their money back that they before you get a dime. That's just the way it goes, where, self-publishing, we pay ourselves back with the money that we make, and then whatever's left over, that's the profit of the book. Any book, not just saying his book, any book. But that's my 2 cents.
But then you get people that get a big advance just to tell their story.
Yeah. And again, a publishing company may give somebody an advance, but they won't see another dime until the publishing company makes all that money back.
Right.
Including the advance.
Oh, they take that back?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's my understanding. The way it was explained to me.
Casey wants to know where the book can be purchased. So I'll put the link up.
Yeah, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple iBooks. Amazon and Barnes and Noble, you can get it in ebook or print. Apple is just ebook, and Kobo is ebook. But yep, that's where it can be kept. That's where it can be gotten.
Now, is it still on Kindle? Can you get it through Kindle on the Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's on the Kindle Unlimited. Like if you have Kindle Unlimited, I don't think it's there. But you can buy it for your Kindle on Amazon.
Okay.
Can I also say something about the profit or something? Just
speak all you want. Yeah.
I just want to clarify, because there was a lot of misconceptions about the Dr. Phil show. I made no money on Dr. Phil. I received no payment. My reasoning for the Dr. Phil show was, again, to get my story out, but then I also I guess you could say the payment is he's helping me with counseling. So, but there was no monetary profit from the Dr. Phil show.
Nope. And he fed us.
He did feed us.
How was the food?
Hotel.
No.
I mean,
But now, Lori, you were there in person.
I was. Yeah.
Okay, so what about when Christy was complaining that she wanted to go, but they wouldn't fly her or take her kids? And I'm like, you can just zoom in, Christy. Nobody wants to hear from you.
I mean, I don't know why they said that to her. They flew me in. So I don't know. And I'm in Florida. So they flew me in, paid for my flight, paid for my hotel, paid for my food. So Jason, being already in Texas, and we filmed at Dr. Phil's house, they had him driven over. It was like a 5-hour ride, and put him up at the hotel and fed him while we were there, and then drove him back, and then I flew back. So, I don't understand why they wouldn't, I think if I saw the correct screenshots, excuse me, they were talking to her in the beginning about it. And I don't know. I mean, it's my understanding, and I don't know how much of it is true or just what I'm being told. They did ask her while we were there while Jason was filming. They sent her a message and asked if she wanted to zoom in and surprise him, and she declined. So I don't know. Maybe she's just moved on with her life.
Well, one can hope. So Jason, what did you think when the different, couple people, you met, when they instantly wanted to introduce you to their kids and their parents? Did you find that a little odd?
Oh yeah. I didn't want to be mean or rude or anything like that. But yeah, I didn't want to do it. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was with any relationship. It definitely wasn't the appropriate time. So it was very uncomfortable. But like I said, I didn't want to be mean or rude to any of them, and that was never my intention at all with any of the the contacts with them, to be mean or rude or so. And I thought it was very odd.
Well, it is kind of weird.
Jason,
I mean, Lori, what do you think? I mean, how long do you wait to introduce? How long did it take for your husband to meet, your dad?
Well, it was a little bit different with my husband, only because we ran in the same circle of friends. So, because his sister is one of my very, very good friends, and I knew his sister before I knew him, and we all ran around together. So, but anyone prior to him didn't meet my children until, we were together a good 6 months. I even tell my children, I don't want to meet their significant other or whoever they're dating. It's a 90-day rule. If you are not dating this person for 90 days, don't bring them to me. Do not bring them to me. You got to get past the 90 days before you bring them my direction for me to meet them.
Exactly.
Anything can happen
So
in 90 days.
I'm when people sleep, when they get up in the morning, if they're a morning person, a night person.
Right.
Wait for the new to wear off.
I don't know. I just don't feel like, when you're first dating somebody, and I'm going to tell you what, my best friend's going to meet you before anybody's going to meet you. And if she don't like you, you're out. You don't even make it to step 2.
But what I noticed is a lot, I'm saying a lot, the 3 women that, were talking about, they didn't have a lot of girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like Cecily and Christy, and like this. Did Opal have girlfriends? Was she like, hey, I'm gonna go out with my friends and have lunch, or we're meeting at church early? Anything like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Jason has learned when to put his Nikes on and run. We've spent a lot of months going over what constitutes to put the Nikes on and start running away from whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
So can I ask about the woman that lives in the Pacific Northwest that bought a plane ticket to come to Texas and was crazy. She came after me. She came in my group, and I'm like, who are you? She's like, I love him. And me and Lori talked about it. I'm like, it's better just ignore her.
Oh man. She would send him presents. Like he would get stuff in the mail every other day, and it would get leaked in the groups because, it got leaked there, whatever. Jason's friends, were leaking positive stuff into the groups too. And then she'd get in the groups and say, I didn't send that to him. He sent it to himself. Okay.
So you made an Amazon account with her address, her credit card number, and you are talented. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, but I see Casey there's asked any new hobbies, and I guess that would be it.
I was just thinking that. That's your new hobby, to create Amazon accounts under women's names and send yourself presents. So whatever.
Yeah, you can make a lot of Facebook accounts, but Amazon, they're pretty strict about their financial rules.
Sorry, dropped my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That was a good couple weeks of. I don't even know what it was.
I mean, at any point, did you think maybe she wasn't well in the head? Maybe she needs to go see a doctor?
I did.
Not at first until after all that started. Then we started seeing some different sides. So
Yeah, it was a very intense couple weeks with worrying about her mental stability. For me, anyway.
Well, and what did you think when you had just met Cecily and she suddenly used a selfie she took of the two of you as her profile picture and printed it out and gave it to you in a frame? I mean, was that kind of like Klinger? I mean,
you're talking about you're talking about Cecily?
yeah.
Yeah.
When she took the picture and she put it online and she blew it up for you, were you like, is that stage 5 Klinger, or were you flattered?
I think maybe the receptions. He looks frozen on my side.
Yep, it's frozen.
Yep.
Looks like it's coming back on. What is going on?
I don't know if y'all are on TikTok or not, but like the song Mandy has just taken over TikTok, and it's on my radio
What
right
is
The song Mandy by Barry Manilow, there's a young kid that's like lip syncing all of the old 80s music.
Really?
Yeah, he's like stolen the hearts of all the cougars over on TikTok.
Oh, nice.
And it's funny because Mandy's playing on my radio right now. And I'm just thinking about TikTok.
Yeah, Jeannie said, I think he's frozen. I think he is too.
Yeah, I think he's frozen.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm back on now.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Casey said, I feel like that is fairly normal behavior. I mean, for a woman who thinks she's actually in a committed relationship with someone, I definitely accept that from a woman before I would a man anyway. Well, yeah, if a man brings you a picture, so, look, I blew this up of us, I'll be like, yeah, weirdo.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I think the reception's like getting weird because Florida's getting ready to have a thunderstorm and everything shuts down when Florida has a thunderstorm, which I don't know why. We're supposed to be used to them.
Right.
This is hurricane, hurricane capital. They all come past here.
So, Jason, what is going on with the papers that, you showed, that you texted to, Cecily? Allegedly. Even Dr. Phil said a fourth grader could have done that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this.
I'm
gonna go ahead and take this. This is my question because I don't want you to say something to incriminate yourself. Allegedly, that was sent to her. She put it out for the world to see. The piece of paper is the piece of paper. The picture is the picture. It's an alleged event. For the courts and a jury of 12 of Jason's peers to decide if it gets to that point, which will segue us into Roxanne. If you have the statement, go ahead and read that.
Yes, I'm going to, if that's okay.
Yes.
Last week, a grand jury indicted Jason Collier on a second charge of tampering with a government record. This charge alleges he sent another individual an annulment document in November of 2020. Mr. Collier has been instructed to turn himself into officials Tuesday, June 8th, 2021, which he will do. He will remain in custody until his bond is set and paid. During this process of discovery and the subsequent trial that will potentially follow, Mr. Collier asked that you leave his children out of this matter. He feels everyone can say what they want about him, but his children did not do anything wrong and are not involved in this matter. He does not want any more publicity brought on to them like it was when this story about him first broke. There is no further information at this time.
That's it in a nutshell.
So what is that? Who is the woman from November 2020?
Did they, if only you can answer this, if they named her in the indictment. If they did not name her, don't name it. Don't name her.
No.
Oh, no one's asking for her name.
That picture was put out there on social media, so anybody could print it out and say, oh, well, he sent this to me too. Does that automatically make it a charge? I don't even know who these people are.
Yeah, I'm curious about that myself.
Yep, and that's for the attorneys to figure out in the discovery process if this is a real, legit person, or if this is, if this person took a document that was out online and decided to jump in the barrel. We don't know. That's that's something that'll be discovered in the discovery phase of, where it goes from here. But Jason will turn himself in on Tuesday like he's been instructed, and, go through the whole process of deciding what a bond, what his bond is and how much the bail is and all of that stuff that goes with it, just like he did last time.
Right. But I mean, you went in and out. I mean, because you showed Cecily a paper. I mean, from what I saw on the Dr. Phil show, there was nothing filed. There was no state seal. So it was, yeah, I mean, it was manipulative. I get that, because you're just trying to say, oh, look, I'm single. Because who knows what hell to pay it would be if she finds out you're married. I mean, I mean, that's one thing. But this is, I mean, in the book, Opal had legal forms ready in her Microsoft Word to print out at any time.
She did. It was just a matter of time. So
I mean, just like Dr. Phil said, just like you just stated, no one got murdered here. No one got injured as a result of, except for, did Cecily's heart get injured? If your heart got injured after 10 days, you need to look at yourself. I know that sounds harsh. I'm not trying to be harsh. I don't understand falling in love with someone and wanting to spend the rest of your life after 10 days. There was a lot of stuff that we couldn't put in the book that I really wanted people to see, because when she came forward with her post and put everything out there, she was making it sound like, and only showing the text that showed Jason saying, you're my forever, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing because, again, it's not in front of me. But I've seen those text messages from beginning of relationship to the end of the relationship, and it was her. She asked him to move in. I don't even know that she had met him yet, or no, they went on their first date or something, and then wants him to move to Amarillo with her. I would never. People need to watch ID, the Discovery, investigative Discovery, because anybody in their right mind would not be asking a man to move in with them after a date, in my opinion. And, I've said it from the beginning. I've said it until I can't say it anymore. I watch too much ID, because I would have never gone on a 4-day, 3-day excursion to the desert with a cop. A cop can kill me, bury me, and no one be none the wiser. And I'm just saying, that's where my brain thinks. My brain wouldn't be thinking, oh, he's a cop, I'm safe. I'm always, like I said, I watch too much ID. I'm always thinking about that. What's this person, I'm the person that walks in the room and I find me 3 escape outlets in case something happens and I need to get out real quick.
I won't climb stairs. That's how weird I am. Everything is first floor. And my husband's like, you do know that hotels and everything, you can, I'm like, I get it. No. You can go to the staircase. You're safe from fire. I'm like, no, I don't know. And meeting strangers is a very strange thing. But it's scary for him too, because women are crazy, as you can see. And like Casey said, as a mother with young children, not no, but hell no. I mean, there was a woman asking her daughter to call him dad.
Yeah, that, I don't understand that at all.
And I own, my responsibility in those conversations, and the way I was speaking to them, that I misled them. I did, and I own that. I take responsibility for it. But they do on their end have to own their end of the relationship as far as wanting me to meet their kids and their parents and moving in with them and just going that fast. But I do. I messed up. I own what I did with the mistakes that I made.
Well, I mean, live and learn. I mean, like Dr. Phil said, nobody died. I mean, these are kind of everyday relationships, honestly. I mean, you're dating. Now, at one time you were married, but now you're dating.
Jeannie I see a question.
He said, how is Jason doing?
It's day to day. Some days I feel like I'm really positive. I'm taking one step forward, and then you get indicted by a grand jury, and it's 3 steps back. You're trying to, you own responsibility for what you did, and you try to move on, and you better yourself, and you build those relationships that's been broken, and then you feel like you just keep getting kicked. I'm trying. That's the best I can do right now. Is I'm trying. I'm trying to move on with my life, and I've got a really good job right now, and take care of myself, and do what I can for the kids, and build my relationship back with them. It's tough right now, and like I said earlier,
and you make a lot more money working independently than you did for the state. Unfortunately, working for the government, you don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's
Casey said, in my opinion, there should be as much outrage for the women that not just themselves, more importantly, their children in these situations. Well, yeah, you don't just do that because they didn't know you. And that's to most parents, they're like, who does that? I mean, did you ever say to anyone or currently, hey, meet my kids?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not in any relationship right now, and I wouldn't. I think there has to be a certain time frame before, and I don't know what that time frame is, but it's definitely a lot. 24 hours to 10 days that you're starting meeting kids or family members.
Sorry, I had to turn my camera off. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, my son just texted and said, I'm ready. Yeah. I mean, that's my opinion. 90 days is the minimum. But, there was a book years ago about relationships, and it talked about the 90-day rule. You don't get benefits at a job for 90 days. So why are you going to give someone you're dating benefits before 90 days? And that's just kind of always, even though I was married, it was just something that kind of stuck with me.
Well, I mean, 90 days, it's for anything, like, a habit, like if you don't drink for 90 days, you should be okay. If you don't smoke for 90 days, if you adapt this diet, there's something about 90 days in a brain that enforces a habit. So we have some law enforcement in here, and if you want to take this question, you can. You and I are in the same career, or were. My question is, what part of this did you ever think was a good idea? I'm pretty sure you didn't think that all the way to the end.
No. I mean, going into it, I knew that the marriage was dwindling, and it was almost over. And my idea behind the dating was to kind of see, if there was potential to be able to move on, uh, and be in another relationship. If I was maybe desirable or anything. Um, Definitely would have handled it a different way. Looking back on it now, mistakes were made. It was a poor decision. Um, being in law enforcement is all about judgment, decision making, and problem solving, and that relates a lot to life as well. And definitely made the mistakes, and would never do it again.
Yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes, and that's what happens. Did you ever think, like, maybe is it because of your marriage, or like were you having like a midlife crisis, or was it? I don't know if everyone here knows this, but and if I can share this, if I can, it's fine. And just say no. I mean, you had a gastric bypass surgery. You lost a ton of weight. So, what do you think it really was? Do you have follow-up counseling from your gastric bypass?
No, there's no counseling or anything related to that. I don't think it was anything to do as far as a midlife crisis or anything like that. I think it was mainly I knew the relationship was over with my wife, and I felt isolated, and I was just trying to see if I had the ability to be able to move on.
So what's going to happen on Tuesday?
We're still working out some of the details between my attorney and the prosecutors. Basically, on Tuesday is the planned day that I'll turn myself into authorities, and I'll see a judge and be arraigned on that charge, and have the opportunity to make bail.
But how are you affording this? And why are people coming forward saying, he sent me these papers? I mean, how much is an attorney right now?
It's just a tough process to go through right now. So, I don't know. That's a tough one to explain. Sounds like Lori. No,
I'm here.
Now.
My son texted and needs me to pick him up. That's why I turned the camera off.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like you're speeding.
I'm not speeding for my law enforcement officer. It is 60 miles an hour on this interstate, and I am going 62.
Oh, how does that
Florida,
work? Either you're speeding or you're not.
In Florida, that is not considered speeding. I would not get pulled over for going 62. And listen, how many little crimes did you let that little girl get away with when we were being driven to Dr. Phil? That girl was texting while driving. She was doing all kinds of craziness. Honked her horn. I don't know. And now I'm not moving. Now I'm barely going the speed limit because traffic in Florida is crap.
Yeah, traffic's bad anywhere. So A to Z said, hi, Jason would have pulled you over, LOL. Yep.
He might have.
So now, do any of your past dates ever just out of the blue text you, hey, how you doing?
One did.
Yeah. No.
Right around Valentine's Day or something. It was weird.
Other than that, no, I haven't had any contact with any of them.
Okay, good. But you don't just, you don't just say, hey, I'm going to check on such and such. Like, you're not trying to just keep up with them.
Nope. No, I have no contact with them. I'm not initiating any contact, and they haven't initiated any contact with me either.
Okay.
Hopefully they've moved on. And I know when I had my dating account a couple weeks ago, I noticed one of them was on there as well. So she was actively looking.
So can you explain what whoever it was that said it? Did you ever buy anyone a coffee maker? A ring, plan a wedding, anything?
No, nothing like that was bought. We did have discussions about rings and things like that, but as far as a definite purchase, we're going to do this, nothing like that was ever made. I was in Kansas one time and we were shopping at Target, and we walked down the coffee aisle, and yes, I love coffee. I like to drink coffee, and so did she. And we were just talking about coffee pots, and I think the whole coffee pot thing is brought up because of that. And then one of the other girls didn't care for coffee, and I think those two, when all this broke, they started talking, and the competition between those two started. And I think that's how the coffee pot was brought up.
Now, did you pay any attention to? Sorry, I can barely hear. Something's loud. It's okay.
It's Lori speeding again.
Lori, not you again. My goodness, coffee is life. I agree. I got it. So, when Cecily said you broke up with her because she's not a godlike woman, doesn't like coffee or seafood, did that conversation really go down?
One of the biggest things that I was looking for in a relationship is somebody that is godly and we have that bond that way, and her and I never talked about God, and so I didn't think God played a big role in her life. Religion did or anything, and when we when I broke up with her, that was part of the discussion, was that I didn't feel that bond with her because there wasn't the connection. I felt like she didn't have a connection with God, and then I started talking about our differences, and yeah, that stuff was brought up. The differences that we had.
Okay, Debbie has a question. Why would you think it's a good idea to still be on dating apps? Why not get legal matters settled and work on yourself and relationship with your children? Isn't that what you're doing?
Yes, yeah. There's no, uh, a few weeks ago, yes, I was on a dating app, but that was taken down. I deactivated that account within a few hours. Um, yeah, you get lonely. I mean, you want some sort of interaction with a human, uh, and that's why I was doing the dating app. But as far as a few weeks ago, no, there is no dating app. I have nothing like that. Yeah, I'm trying to get my legal matter settled and get it all done, and I am working on myself and trying to rebuild a relationship with my kids. It wasn't that stuff wasn't damaged overnight, and it's definitely not going to be fixed overnight. So it's taken some time, but yes, I would enjoy some friendship. So being able to talk to somebody, and that was the meaning behind the dating app.
Right. Now, do you hang out with your friends very often? Your family, just getting out and doing things? I can barely hear anyone, so.
No, no. I really don't have any interaction with friends, or I don't have a whole lot of family. I have one brother that lives 2 hours away, and I see him and his family as much as I can. But as far as friends, um, I don't really have any interaction with them. Because then again, that goes back to the post about a month ago that was stolen off my social media to be put out on all the hate groups. Um, so I don't know who to trust.
I don't blame you. Because, I mean, if there was like 100 Facebook groups made about me and my friends and family were in there and they're friends with me on my private page, I would kind of wonder who to trust too.
Yeah.
And then you've got the issues with Opal, and hopefully someday you can discuss what happened with her son and what an awful situation that was and why she did not do the right thing.
Yeah, we're going to hold off on that one.
No, don't say anything, because that is disgusting. And like Debbie, make friends. Yeah, I mean, when you have friends that stab you in the back and you're in a small town, what are you gonna do, Debbie?
I mean, I went, Jason opened up, because you couldn't even, like, he had it set so even if you were friends with him, you couldn't see his other friends. And so I asked him to open it up in the very beginning for me, just for me, because you can set it that way too, so that I could go through the 13 or 1400 friends he was friends with and go back and see if they were in any of these groups, like digging deep to try to figure out who the mole was, how his stuff was getting put out there. And, it was turns out it was a friend, and she wasn't even in the group. She was giving the stuff to another person in the group. So it's hard to find. There was one girl that he was friends with that was in a group, and she shared something herself, and he got rid of her from his friends list. But when you go to the extreme of you're not in any of these groups and you're just screenshotting stuff and giving it to people who are, for them to put it in there, that's, yeah, I would lose my trust in all my friends. I'd be like, nah, I don't trust nobody.
Oh, hell, my friends would do it in a heartbeat. They'd be like, what? There's a book written about you? I'll make some money off this.
And I know I've got a lot of really good friends, and I know that I can trust them. It's just like with anything, it's just going to take some time to rebuild the trust. And I heard it, and I still believe it, that trust is lost by the bucketful, but it's only gained by the thimble. And so it's just going to take some time.
Right. Debbie. Brooke, not me. What the hell's Debbie talking? Debbie, grab the link. What are you talking about? So what are your plans? Obviously, you've got to get through Tuesday.
I just want to get all this put behind me. I just want to be able to live my life. I want to be able to interact with my kids and live my life and be productive without constantly worrying about what I'm doing, if it's going to cause people to hate on me. I don't care so much if they want to hate on me, but don't hate on my kids, and don't hate on somebody I could potentially be in a relationship with. My kids didn't deserve that, and neither does anybody that I potentially get in a relationship with. And, just want to be able to live my life.
Oh, I mean, I agree. And I adore your first wife and the way that she presented herself. She's protected the kids, didn't speak about you, because everybody else and their dog came out just to make a dime, just to make a goddamn dime.
Yeah, she is. She is a good person, a good woman, and she's an excellent mom. I have no doubts about that. She takes really good care of the kids, and I'm so grateful to her for that. We had our issues over the years, but really she's kind of been there to support me as well through this process, and so I've been really grateful to her, and she's remarried, and he's been supportive of her to be able to support me and the kids through all of this. So I appreciate all of them.
Yeah, because I mean, just my opinion. You being her ex-husband, you have children together. People are coming after your children. I would expect, your ex-wife to get out her claws and go after all these people. Don't talk about my kids. Don't call me. Don't come to my kids' school. Don't do any. These people are crazy. These online people are crazy. But the way that she conducted herself and just let sleeping dogs lie, I mean, I thought she did amazing. And that's the reason in the group I said, don't tag her, don't bring her up.
Right.
No, Opal is not
Yeah,
remarried.
she's
Yeah, no, Opal's not remarried. It was my first wife is remarried.
Amen, Brooks. I didn't. No. Yeah. So, what is Opal doing now? Since you guys are divorced, she rubbed it in your face all the time in the book about how she makes more money. I mean, all of this stuff. What is she doing now? How, the chapter I read about when you told her what was going on and she went to bed, then jumped up and said, "Oh, this is too devastating for me and my family. We're getting a divorce." So what is she doing now?
She's moved on, and they've moved out of Borger and moved on with their lives. I noticed when I was on that dating app a couple weeks ago that she had a profile on there as well. So I guess she's trying to move on in a relationship as well. So I wish her all the best of luck.
There you go. Well, dear God, was she a match?
She popped up, so I went ahead and rejected that one, and as I did the other one, and blocked their profile. So
The panhandle of Texas is really big. How do you keep running into the same weirdos?
I guess we're all looking in the same spot.
Oh my God. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine if I went on a dating site and I pulled up all the same people I already knew.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Someone cut out. Are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, it was asked earlier, what are your hobbies? What are you doing now? And your hobbies are not dating sites, all right? So,
no. I really am focusing on myself, and I get up early in the morning, and I take my buddy Gus. Him and I go for a run every morning, and go to work, and then I go home and I go back to the gym. And I'm just trying to focus on myself physically and mentally, and just trying to get myself in a good place.
all right.
At other hobbies, I'm just keeping myself busy with work and working out, things like that. So I guess that'd be my main hobby. But I'm glad summertime is here. And I really enjoy working in the yard, gardening and stuff like that. So that's fixing to really pick up as well.
All right, here's a question. Do you plan to relocate away from the small town drama? They're all small towns in the panhandle, okay? They're all small towns. Even Amarillo is a small town. Have you thought about moving to like a bigger city? I mean, even Wichita Falls is bigger than where you live. Have you thought about Dallas? Have you thought about Houston, Austin? Going into Oklahoma?
Yeah, I definitely have. And I've discussed it with Lori and my brother, and it's a possibility to go someplace where, I mean, I know this made national and world news, and But I think with it being such small town Texas right here, everybody knows me. They see me out and about. They know me. They might not say anything, but people recognize me. So I think about moving on to another state. But I worry, am I just running from something here and I go to another state or a bigger city? People are still going to recognize me. So I don't know if I'm running for something, but I also have to think about my kids and building, I'm trying to continue to build that relationship with them. My daughter's coming up on her senior year, and there's so much I could, if I left, that I would potentially miss out with her. And so I just got a lot of thinking to do as far as moving.
So, were you aware of the story about how Cecily had done this to a man prior?
I once it all started coming out on social media, that was the first time that I had learned about it. She had told me that she had been in a relationship with a man and found out that he was still married, but that I didn't know all the details on it as far as that. So.
It was from an animal shelter, and she was posting pictures on social media of how the animals came in and accused him of abusing the animals, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's all everything I found out afterwards, that when it all came up on social media.
Did you ever ask her, like, what is your problem? I mean, why are you bothering me so much? Why didn't she just go to your house, talk to Opal, and get it over with? I mean, you had already broken up with her.
She was
that's
really
what real
upset.
women do. In my opinion, real women show up at the front door and show pictures of, look where your husband's been all weekend. They don't take it to the extreme of, let me just blow somebody's life up because of 10 days. Now, with that being said, if it would have been like, I think we all remember when she first came out with the stuff. I know I thought when I first read it, they had been in a long-term, long months, year almost relationship. And then to find out it was 10 days, that's not how you act. If after 10 days, you and your boyfriend break up. In my opinion, I'm different though.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we can all fall head over heels, and we're like, oh wow, I found the one.
I said a bunch of times, during the writing of the book and all the different things, you show up at the woman's house, you show the pictures, and then on your way home, you stop at the grocery store and you get you a half a gallon of ice cream and some hot fudge and caramel and eat until your feelings are gone. That's, 10 days. Half a gallon of ice cream will work.
She was really upset because I wouldn't move in, and that was kind of the breaking point, and that I think that's what made her want to go public with everything.
I mean, I said early on, did he deserve to lose his wife? Yes. 100%. Without a doubt, that's the punishment that fits this crime. Not everything else, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, unless, from what I read in the book, and everything else we've talked about, they were talking things over. But Opal decided that, at the 11th minute, too much for me. My family's embarrassed. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so why couldn't she play her part, not in what Jason did, but in what she has done? Because Opal's a real piece of shit.
Preach, girl, preach.
I mean, what her son has done, how she defended him, and that, I mean, prove me wrong.
I can't prove you wrong. Nope, I can't prove you wrong. I agree with you.
And I started out saying, all we can feel sorry for is Opal and the kids. That's it. I knew no other information. And the more I hear about Opal, and a lot of it comes from her, because she has a Facebook account that is a different name. And I'm like, wow. So you went after him when he was married. You allowed, which Jason, of course, you're a participant.
Yep.
But you enabled your son to do horrific things. When Jason stood up, Opal would say, you don't own this house. I make more money. What is she talking about?
She was the breadwinner.
Well, I mean, he had a job. I mean, my God, a very important job.
Yes, but as we all know, government officials, police officers, even police chiefs. I mean, I think there was like a picture that went around. The annual salary of the police chief of Dennett, Texas was like under $50,000 a year. Opal's got a job where she makes six figures deep.
A lot of it was the image. When it doesn't matter if you're the chief of police of a small agency or a large agency, you still carry that title. You're a chief of police. And so even when her and I started dating and were getting together, I was in the process of becoming a chief of police, and she's seen that. And that, I believe that was the image that she wanted. But there was no way I was ever going to make as much money as she does. And so that was everything belonged to her. And even Texas is a community property state, and when she left and told me I had to get out of the house, she told me I better not take her truck. Well, that was my truck also. She said she would file criminal charges on me for stealing that truck. Well, we're married. That's half my truck as well. So, but I didn't want to fight anything. So, fortunately, I had family that was able to help me, and they came and got me and got me. It was just stuff like that. This is my stuff. This is mine. We're married, but this is my stuff. So.
Well, and your stuff is your stuff. I mean, no one can take it.
Right.
But she wanted to be vindictive. She knew there were problems already. Can I read this in chapter 9?
What's that about?
The stepson.
It's
up to Jason. It's up to him.
Yeah, I would say as long as it's I mean, it's in the book, so you can read it.
Yeah, but if he's uncomfortable and he doesn't want to continue, then I understand.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, he's putting himself out here.
Yeah. No, you're fine. What's in the book is basically public information. So.
I caught heat at work over my stepson's behavior. The boy was uncontrollable in his drug use, which had started as just marijuana, but had progressed into cocaine. It was an embarrassment. I was getting tired of having to deal with it. Opal wasn't prepared to make him face the consequences of his actions. She would ground him, but never enforced it. He would regularly curse at her, get in her face, and scream at her. In all honesty, I think she was scared of him, and that fear on top of her agonizing guilt over not being there for him when he was growing up made her think she had to hand him everything. So, I mean, you think that wasn't part of the problem? I mean...
Yeah, that was a big problem. And, you know, she would tell me to step in and do things and or you know, for discipline or whatever. But I knew I never had her. She never had my back as far as anything. So he would ask her for something, and she would say yes. You know, you can do this or have this or whatever, but we need to approve it by Jason. And well, if I said yes or no, it didn't matter because she had already gave the authority. So I felt kind of, I guess maybe a little disrespected in that means that, you know,
of course.
Involved in everything. I want you involved in everything. I want your opinion, but it really doesn't matter. So.
Well, I mean, you're the head of the household, and you're given no respect. Janine says, is this a stepson's father if that's not too personal? Debbie said, anytime a marriage is not a partnership and one side is not going to work, especially with money and kids. Well, Debbie, I spend all my husband's money.
You know, biological kids are difficult as it is. But when you have a blended family, it's a little bit more. I think it's a little more difficult. So it definitely put a huge strain on our relationship.
So in chapter 10, you said, I wanted this boy in jail. She would even agree with me when I would tell her what happened, what needed to happen. Let me get my glasses. But then she would turn around and coddle her son. So when she knew he was doing something terrible, where did that put you in a position when, you know, you're the guy, you're the sheriff, you're the chief of police, you're the guy?
Yeah, it you know, it made life difficult.
Walk away, right?
Yeah, it was difficult, you know, personally and professionally. That people seen it. I mean, the guys that I was working with knew this stuff because people talk. And it lied on me and it put me in a bad position. But if I the law is the law. If you break the law, it doesn't matter who you are. You got to stand. You got to stand trial for it or whatever. But it doesn't matter if a cop's kid or anything like that. It's just
That way.
you go back to thinking about my first wife. She got into an accident, and I was the one that was working that day, and I was the supervisor, but went to the accident, made sure everybody was okay, and the other officer that ended up having to work the accident said, "Man, I don't want to write her a ticket. She's at fault. Write her a ticket. Take responsibility."
Right. And you're not above the law either, and that's why you have to pay for what you've done. But what's worse, being a cop's son or a preacher's son? Because they both. Think about it.
It's got to be tough. I can't imagine. When my daughter started driving, she really didn't want to drive with me because I was strict on everything, and laws are put out there for our safety, and that's what I was trying to teach her, that those laws are there for a reason. That's to protect us and keep us safe, and to keep others safe. So I couldn't imagine being a kid of a officer or a preacher. That would have to be difficult. I think you have a different, a higher standard that you have to live up to.
Well, I'm hoping someone jumps on panel and argues with me, because I'm trying to figure out why. I'm agreeing with Dr. Phil. Why you have any kind of charges for, like Dr. Phil said, something a fourth grader could print out. Did you gain money from this? Was it actually a legal document you changed? And don't answer it if you can't. Please don't.
I've only seen a picture of it.
I have a picture of it. It's still on Cecily's Facebook.
See, so I mean, it's public access. It's so out there. Anybody could just take that and claim that it was sent to them.
Just so we all know, I'm not driving anymore. So if I make weird faces, it's because my son's driving. I hold this a lot. When my son
right? Yeah, DM, you're right. All the preacher's kids I knew were juvenile delinquents. True. Son of a preacher man. It's a song.
Left at that light.
So now, Jason, I mean, is your stepson, has he tried to contact you after the things that happened?
Did contact me?
Yes.
Who did?
Your stepson.
Oh no. I haven't had any contact with him in several months. Prior, it probably would have been around Christmas time.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't even around at Christmas time? Or was he there?
No, he was there. Yes.
Okay.
That's probably been the last time that I seen him.
So in November, you opened a Plenty of Fish account.
Yes.
And that was just to meet people, talk to people. You knew your marriage was over, right?
Yes.
It's kind of a wonder that Opal, I mean, as controlling as she was, didn't find your phone. She had an app on you to see where you were going. How she didn't even see your apps or anything.
She never asked. I don't think she really cared. I don't know there until the end when she wanted to put that app on there to kind of see where I was going. And I don't know if it was really I care what you're doing. I just want to see where you're at.
Wow. I don't know, Lori. Did you notice some apps on your husband's phone?
I don't look at my husband's phone. I don't look at his phone. He doesn't look at my phone.
I look at my husband's phone because he's always like, "Where's my phone?" And I've got to call it. Then he's like, "Can you charge it for me?"
Yeah, no, my husband. And if I had to venture to say, if we were like on the Newlywed, well, not the Newlywed Game, that wouldn't work, but if we were on one of them game shows, whatever, and I had to venture what was on my husband's phone app-wise, there would be a Bible app, there would be a news app, and maybe a couple news outlets and his Facebook app. But I don't look at his phone. He doesn't look at mine. I guess when you've been married almost 21 years, there's nothing to look at.
No, actually, my husband's like, "Hey, here's my phone." He's like, "How do I download this picture? How do I do this?"
Yeah, now he'll do that. Like, he has his phone and be like, and say, "Hey, the pictures I took today, help me get on Facebook." And I will, but just for a general go through my husband's phone, I haven't done that in probably 10, 15 years.
Janine, I'm starting to think and look at my husband's phone. Janine, calm down.
As an author, I don't want nobody looking at my Google searches. It's probably why he stays away, because I'm constantly researching stuff on my phone and on, even on my laptop. And I'm like, yeah, disregard anything you see I search for on Google for it's for the next book story or whatever.
Yeah. I woke up at 3 this morning, Lori, and you'll be interested in this because I was doing all kinds of research about Gypsy Rose. Okay. So everything I Googled, if something happened to one of my kids and they got sick, I'd be the one to blame.
Yeah, that's kind of like, like I've learned on ID, when if you die, your spouse is the first person that is looked at. It's always the parents and the spouse.
True. So, Jason, we want to hear you talk. So, how are you going forward?
Just one day at a time. That's all I can do right now. Just trying to. I just want to get all this behind me and be able to move forward. Just want to. I've got a good support system as far as my brother and Lori, and So I just focusing on me and healing a relationship with the kids and moving forward.
I think the kids are the hardest.
Yeah.
I don't mean for you. I don't know your kids, but kids can be tough.
Yeah.
They know everything.
Especially a teenage daughter. Yeah, a teenage daughter is very difficult.
Did she go to prom? Did you take her?
She'll go this next year. She's a senior,
Right.
coming up to be a senior. So I hope and I pray that we're in a better spot that I get to.
How did you handle it and her mom handle the people that were messaging her and going after her? How did you deal with that?
I was pretty much hands off. I didn't know a whole lot about what was going on other than what I was hearing. And that was mainly coming from her mom. She was telling me, and so I didn't know who was really coming after her. And a lot of it's just the social media trolls that have nothing better to do than go after kids like that. I think there was a couple people that other kids that made comments in person. Like a lot of teenagers worked in the fast food industry, and people would make comments to her at work, and that was. But she is a fantastic and phenomenal young lady, and has a heart of gold, and she would do anything in this world for anybody. And, so to see her in pain hurts.
Yeah, it does. I mean, is it pain or embarrassment? Because parents embarrass us like we were in elementary school. Oh, my mom's wearing this shirt. My dad, didn't get a haircut. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
But what drives me insane is that these idiots went after your daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she carries the embarrassment, but for a while there it was pain because she's just a good person, and for the people to be saying things about her bothered her, and her and I had such a close relationship. We were buddies and had a good relationship. It hurt her to not be part of my life, just like it hurt me to not be able to be a part of their life.
Oh, absolutely.
Her stepdad, he stepped in and did a good job while all this stuff was going on, and I appreciate him stepping in there and doing that. I want the relationship back to where I'm dad.
Yeah, well, I mean, your dad. I mean, that won't go away.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's mad, she's embarrassed. I mean, she's a teenage girl, and I don't want to say that happens because it just doesn't happen. I'm sure she wasn't expecting to see people from as far as Australia finding her just to send pictures of her dad and making memes. But, I don't think you played that tape to the end either. I mean, someone went crazy on you.
I never, never would have expected any of this. It went way. I'm not saying what I did was right or anything like that, but the response to everything and has just gone overboard, especially towards the kids.
Yeah, I agree. Like Lynn says, Jason, my dad never tried to have a real bond with me. And let me tell you, I'm sure it means a lot to her that you try, but please keep trying.
Thank you. Yeah, it's that's all I can do right now is just to try and keep trying to build that relationship back, build the trust back that her and I lost. So that's all I can do right now.
And going back to Dr. Phil, he said these were adult consenting relationships. There was a way to handle hurt feelings without involving social media.
I agree.
And that was my take on it. I mean, if you're that upset, deal with it one-on-one. But you drag a career, you go viral, you involve children. I mean, who in here has ever been so brokenhearted after a few days, and I mean a few, that you would destroy someone?
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand that aspect of why that happened. It's like Lori said, just go to, I deserve to lose my marriage. I did, and but I was a good father, and I was a good cop. I had a lot of pride in being a dad and being a good cop. And that my decision destroyed that, and I own that. But definitely could have been outed in a different manner than for me to lose everything.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of songs about women who have been cheated on. I mean, if we're strong enough, we can slice tires. But this was insane. So, I mean, moving forward, I mean, I don't know how you pick them.
I don't know.
Started a job. Kidding.
Lori's gonna start screening.
Lori has to. Lori has to.
Yeah. We'll get, I guess, potential ladies can send applications to Lori, and Lori can screen them.
Yeah.
I just, I'm so hated. I don't foresee any of that happening. So.
I don't think anyone in this community hates you. I think just we have questions, just like, what were you thinking? Now we know, because there is not anyone in here that has never been in a bad relationship. And you'll do anything to get out of it. And if anyone comes at me and says he should have done this, should have done this, should have done that, we can speak like, somewhere else, because woulda, shoulda, coulda makes no sense to me. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I agree. And no one's going after her, trust me. But no one can have a fallout after knowing someone for a few days like this. It makes no sense to me. And if anyone wants to talk about it, just let me know, because I don't get it. There's people that have been married for 50 years and weren't this upset. When you use social media to destroy a person and you go after their children, there's something very wrong with you.
There's so many people that it affects. It's not just that the person you think is the target of it. They've got family, friends, careers, and anything you put out on social media is going to affect others, not just that one.
Right. And I mean, you should keep everything as private as you can, but you had no choice. So like now we're, like you can't have dinner with someone and take a picture unless they use it against you,
I can't go in public with my daughter and people not use it against me. I mean, it's like the picture at her senior ring ceremony. They started saying things about my daughter, so it doesn't matter. So
oh, you've got a fan here. It's Angel. Oh my God, it's Super Player. Oh my God. There you go. In the Panhandle of Texas.
yeah, of all places, huh?
Mm-hmm. And DM is right. Social media is terrible. It's terrible. I know so many people that are like, I don't want a Facebook. Zuckerberg is so upset about people cussing, talking about politics, but you can leave your kids' pictures up with tags in them. And they can go to a child's profile. We have a group right now. It's about a child that was abused, and her mother's profile is wide open. You can see the child's picture, their house, everything. So yeah, you're right, DM. It does. Angel, you're right. No kids. Jeannie, people cheat every day. You don't see it much on social media. So why did Cecily feel the need to destroy your life? Because she did the last person too. The dude moved to Dallas from Amarillo. It's in the group, Jeannie.
Yeah.
And trust me, in a few hours when this is in the group and other groups, they'll drag me. They'll be after me. Don't worry about that. That'll take the heat off you. Right, Lori?
I got plenty of room in my boat for you, baby.
I know.
I'm glad I muted the mic there for a minute. My son has a lot to say. My son's driving and he's listening, and he knows the whole story because,
Well, what's he got?
What
does he have to say?
I'm trying to decide if I'm going to let him say it because it's pretty offensive. But hold on, if nobody in here is not going to get, he's 24, so he's of age. But this is what he has to say. Go ahead and say it again.
All right, so obviously the bitches who are getting mad, they're not getting dick. So I mean that's the whole reason why they're mad is because they're not getting dick, and they want dick but they can't get dick, and so they're getting all mad because these other women got it and one got mad about it and they just all want to harp on it. That's what bitches who don't get dick do. They get all mad together.
That's the comedic aspect of this little.
No, I'm not done. But then
they all get raised
mad.
Him right.
They all get mad because they're not getting it, and so it's like, all right, woohoo, whatever. We're all gonna get mad, but then that's what it is. They just need some dick, and honestly, they're probably all fat and ugly. If you really want to.
Hey, we ain't shaming nobody.
I'll shame them. I don't give a shit. I mean, they're probably.
Okay, I'm using my mic again.
I heard he was.
Right, but he's so passionate. He's so passionate. He's passionate.
He's a man. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Women.
Well, let's talk about this. This is
yeah. Wait a minute. Let me bring up that point. So my son does have a good point here. Women can, men get rifled through the mud. There's a thing I mentioned it earlier. Hush. Hush. So I mentioned earlier, there's a thing on TikTok that happened last week, and it's this 21-year-old boy, cute as a button. I ain't gonna lie, he's cutie. And he's lip syncing 80s songs. And so all these older women are, some are being appropriate and some aren't with regards to stitching or duetting him. And some people have brought this up. Well, if that was a man, an older man, Googling at a 21-year-old female, everybody'd lose their mind. And there's a point. There's a point there. We would. But it's okay for the women to Google over this 21-year-old boy or man, 21-year-old man, he ain't a boy. But it's standards. Like the standards aren't the same for both sides of the fence. They're really not.
Just saying, I don't think he did anything. If you ask me.
Well, there you go, Jason. You have a fan with my son. He doesn't think you did anything that bad.
And it's funny you bring that up because my husband said the same thing when I made the group, and I'm like, what did this guy do wrong? Obviously, he did wrong. But I mean, life-breaking, altering wrong. Already had problems with Opal. And my husband goes, so if a man went to the Daily Mail, sold a story, and said some awful things. I don't know if you read that article, Jason, but it was awful. I mean,
I seen bits and pieces, and then I stopped.
I can read it. You may not like it, but it's, if a man went to the Daily Mail and sold a story saying her lovemaking was terrible, I mean, that man, it would be total. I wouldn't even say, but these women are like, oh, you're right. Go on. Like, really? Who says that? So you took it a step further, Cecily, and you did that to make money. Yeah, exactly. She went in the gutter with the Daily Mail interview. She did. And let's look right now what the Daily Mail offers. The last case we went through this.
I know what they offered Jason.
Did you take it?
No, that's trash rag.
I know. Daily Mail pay for stories. Now, why does United Kingdom pays for stories, but not people in America don't? Debbie, women's great equality till it comes to this. Just like the case we're carrying right now for Cash Gurdon. Monica has made between $5,000 and $10,000 for the video she turned over, the pictures. Yeah, Cecily, I mean, she had some stuff going on there. Yeah, for this story, I don't know, but she made some money.
Turn on
I told you, Jason, you should get half.
Just it's payment enough to know that I'm done. I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Now, what did you think when Chrissy contacted you right before Valentine's Day? February 11th.
Yeah.
Were you kind of weirded out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It surprised me because we were on one of our calls with Lori and Andy getting the book together. And we'd just been talking about things like that, and then all of a sudden, she contacts me, and yeah, it was kind of odd.
Sorry, hit the wrong button.
You're back. Good.
I was looking at the comments in the chat. I was looking because I figured out I can go look at them. And when I was trying to get back, I hit the refresh button instead of the X button. Me and technology.
Yeah. Same here. Janine has a question. If he could do this all over again, would he just leave?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. There is no way I would ever go through this again, and hopefully, my story coming through this is an inspiration to somebody. If they're going through what I was, that they just leave. That's the best thing to do. That's the best thing to do. Don't go through this personally, professionally, or put your family through it.
Now, what about the woman in Abilene that said you were sending her a ring, she had to go to Lubbock and pick it up? Did that ever happen?
No, there was no ring. I think. Okay, you're talking about the one they call FedEx, Christy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. She lives in Lubbock. We just talked. We never actually met, and we were just joking about that. I I could just ship her a ring and she could just deliver it to herself. I mean that. So that was all just a joke. There was never any talks of marriage or anything there.
Yep, true, DM. I've seen more men called on Facebook for this since Jason was blasted. It's become a thing. It is. And how many trifling bitches are out there that no one says anything about?
I would imagine that it's probably going to become a big thing, if not already. But people get outed on that. I remember Cecily talking about a Facebook page that's really, I don't know if it's particular to the Panhandle or Amarillo, but women who would start dating men would go to this Facebook page and put the picture up of the guy and ask anybody if this was their man. And that way women could respond, yes, I married him, I'm dating him, or I know him, or whatever. So I think social media is probably going to be used a lot more to blast people for things like this.
I think you would have been easier off with the show cheaters. They follow you around. They would find you than this. How many times a day are you contacted by people? They've been selling your phone number. How many times a day are you contacted by strangers or women that want to date you?
You know, at first when it hit, I was getting a lot of phone calls, people voicing their opinion on my voicemail about me, but it's died off quite a bit. Definitely, like I said, I feel like I'm probably the most hated man in America, so I'm definitely not getting any offers for dates or anything.
Debbie said, social media can ruin lives.
That's right,
People,
Debbie.
come on, grow up. Debbie's the best. Cuss them out and move on.
Amen.
And like Casey said, actually, DM said to Casey, did you ever think that maybe like these women were like a little bit emotionally too available and desperate?
I mean, they were available. I don't know about the desperate part. I mean, I guess that was everybody's on the dating apps and everything because they're available.
Yeah, makes sense. But you have a nice
grandbaby to go hold.
But you have a good friendship with Lori. I agree. There was something very weird there.
Watch the speed bumps, kid.
those speed limits?
Yes. All right, I was cutting out.
I said that I have a 3-week-old grandbaby to go upstairs and hold.
Yes, you do. So Angel said no Facebook, no dating apps, no dates either.
Yeah, baby.
She's giving me that advice.
Yes.
Okay, I accept it. Thank you.
Go around her. She hasn't even started her
And
coffee.
then Lynn said, can you explain the name Spacebook? Yeah, I don't know. I like this question a lot. Are there things that have come from all of this that you are grateful for that you don't think you'd have ever had the pleasure of knowing having this if not ever happened? You know, like when something bad happens, it turns into good.
Yeah. You know, I always had and I still struggle with it to a point, but I always had the need that I have to have somebody.
You wouldn't have had me. That's your proper response.
Oh, yes, Terry Ann is amazing.
No.
I don't know about that.
No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
I kick your ass all the time. So.
No,
Okay.
Lori is great. I did. I've earned so many friendships out of it, and Lori and Terry Ann. You know, I've gained a lot. I talk about all the loss that I've had, but there's a lot to it that I've gained as well, and
Lock
it's
my door.
taught me a lot about myself and learning the strength that I have as an individual.
Are you codependent? Do you have to have somebody?
I don't know. I think
Yes.
at
Yes.
certain times, yes, I am codependent.
Answer is yes.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I like to have somebody to talk to. I like to have somebody to share with. And
I don't think your sister's here, kid.
it gets old going home at night every night, staring at a wall, or my dog
We'll
doesn't
call
talk
her,
back.
find out how far away
So,
she is.
Yeah, but your dog's always happy to see you. Sometimes, you know, the partner's not happy to see you.
yeah, that's right.
So that's a totally different scenario.
Where'd she go?
Shopping.
That she needs to be fine. Hey, where you at?
I agree with Casey.
You're leaving a restaurant? All right, cool.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, I think as humans, we all
She
want
said that.
interaction with other humans, and there's times, yeah, you've got to be codependent on somebody, and it can be a blessing and it can be a curse.
Well, I mean, think about it. When we get older, who's going to take care of us? We have to have a partner or children. Someone's going to have to drive us to the doctor, grocery store. I mean, there's like a lot of things in the back of our mind that we don't spit out. Or it could be romantic, you know, but the romance goes away pretty fast.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this, Debbie. Best advice I can give is enjoy and learn from whatever step you are in. God allowed it for a reason.
I agree. That's true.
Maybe think about this, Jason. Start your own dating app. Yeah, and then you can be on the other end and tell people what not to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So when men are like, hey, I'm, doing this, doing that, be like, let me tell you a story.
Oh yeah. I could give them some advice, definitely, on what not to do. So how to ruin everything.
Callie said, I thought he had a new girlfriend.
I think, excuse me, I think the one she's probably referring to is the one that we went to the company dinner together. Like I said, when that picture was put up, that ended our friendship pretty quick.
I mean, personally, I like my idea. I'm better than Dr. Phil. I think you should write your own book about what not to do and start your own dating app.
Well,
Lori,
I can
you can
write pretty well, but
make
the
apps.
technology.
I can what?
You know how to write books, and you can make an app, right?
I got a guy that can make an app. I don't know nothing about making an app. I know about writing books, but I got a guy who knows how to make apps.
So, someone wants to know how you feel about polygamy, Jason.
I believe that God created marriage between one man and one woman.
Okay.
The devil and society can easily blind that, and you have to stand strong in your faith and know that God did create marriage between one man and one woman.
So, just going off the book and your words of the book, how do you feel about swingers and wife swapping?
It's definitely a regret, and it's something that I would never do ever again. There's a lot more people that are in that lifestyle than people know about. There's a lot of people who are in very influential positions that are in that lifestyle, and that's a choice that they make, and that's someday that's going to be up between them and God to discuss. Just like just like when I stand before God, I'm going to have to explain that as well. And it's not something that I will ever do again. I don't want to ever experience that. And I don't know. I don't want any part of it. No.
And Angel's right. It's too easy to get divorced. It's too easy to cheat. There's just like too much going on. Like you can wake up at 2 a.m. and you're like, ugh. Next thing you know, you're talking to someone.
And that's social media and dating apps have all made it that way. They've made it that easy for affairs to happen.
But I mean, think about the media altogether. I mean, when you see a news story, Lori, you'll agree with me. We talked about this. And you hear a child was killed. You're like, oh, okay. It doesn't drop your jaw. Because we're desensitized. I mean, our emotions, I mean, everything. Angel, swipe right or whatever, you're off and popping. Okay, well, it's true. But I mean, we're very desensitized. We have so much stuff going on between our phones, so much information, and that's a good thing, but we can't process it all. Which is no reason to cheat. It's no reason. There's never a reason for bad behavior. But it's understandable.
Right.
I mean, as humans, we're like, ugh, I get it. And like Debbie said, social media makes it easier, but there's got to be something wrong. If you're happily in love, you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
One second.
Yeah, I keep popping in and out.
Angel, really something like that happened to you? Through LinkedIn? Oh my God.
That's terrible. That should be, I mean, isn't that against the law? It should be unsolicited pics like that.
That's a resume site.
Look. Oh, that's true. LinkedIn.
Can you put pictures on there? I guess someone figured it out.
I think it just goes back to what Lori's son was saying. He was just putting his resume out there.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wind this down, and we'll be back tomorrow because we have some people that are affiliated with the Gypsy Rose case.
Thanks for having us, Brooks. I appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime.
Thank you
And you
very
guys
much.
You guys come back anytime.
Will
Thank
do.
you.
All right, guys. Bye, Jason. I'll talk to you.
All right.
Bye, bro.
Good night.
Thank y'all. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.